It is 2:01, so we'll go ahead and get started. This is Megan Williams with the National Weather Service in Slidell. We'll go into the severe weather briefing. We are under an enhanced risk of severe weather tonight into Tuesday morning, mainly late evening into early morning, and we'll go into the timing more in just a minute. The main threats with this are going to be damaging winds, and you cannot rule out a tornado or two, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail as well in just a moment. We do have a slight risk of heavy rainfall tonight into Tuesday morning. This is mainly going to be for our northernmost areas, and mainly as the line moves through, it's kind of a localized heavy rainfall threat. And then we have a couple other hazards we wanted to make y'all aware of. There is this wind advisory that's still in effect through 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning, and then the coastal flood advisory as well through tomorrow morning, through 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we'll start off real quick with the active advisories that we have. The wind advisory, that's for winds 20 to 25 miles an hour with gusts up to 40 expected, and that's running now through 4 a.m. Tuesday, and then we have this coastal flood advisory for mostly just the east-facing shores, 1 to 2 feet of inundation expected. That also runs through 4 a.m. Tuesday as well. And then going into the severe weather risk, so we do have this enhanced risk of severe weather, mostly for our northern most counties, especially along and north of I-10, I-12 is the biggest risk, with especially as you get more towards northwest of Baton Rouge and our South Mississippi counties. And the main threats with this are going to be damaging winds and a tornado or two. We're mostly expecting these threats to be mostly embedded inside the line, so we're not really expecting to see a whole lot out ahead of the line as it moves through later tonight. This is what we're thinking of as a high ceiling, low probability event. And so, it's kind of conditional. If we get the right conditions, the potential is there for 1 to 2 strong to severe storms. And so the potential is there for these storms to be, to have the potential for these damaging winds, but also for a strong tornado or two to occur inside the line. And the South Mississippi counties in particular are at a greater risk of this, and the Storm Prediction Center has noted that because they have put that area in a hatched risk. And so there are some limiting factors going on, but if the right conditions happen, there is that potential to see a strong tornado or two inside the line, and to see this damaging winds inside the line, especially along and north of I-12, but also especially for the South Mississippi areas. The other thing, and we'll talk about this in a minute, is that it's primarily going to be a nighttime event, which provides its own vulnerabilities as well, since people will be primarily asleep. But we'll talk about that when we look at the timing. As far as the rainfall concerns, we do have a slight risk of heavy rainfall. I said the system looks pretty progressive, and so this is mostly going to be as the line moves through, while the line's moving through, you could see a quick 1 to 2 inches, primarily for the South Mississippi counties is kind of what we're thinking for this heavy rainfall. And so it's going to be pretty localized. So we're not really expecting any widespread flooding issues from the system moving through. And overall for the event, expecting 1 to 2 inches total, especially up the further north into our area you get, those northern Louisiana parishes and South Mississippi counties. And so as we talk about the timing, the biggest thing with this is that it's going to be a nighttime event. And so we want to make sure that what we're putting out on our social media things is that we're trying to make sure that people, that people have multiple ways to receive warnings overnight, even if they're going to be asleep. And so the main timing for areas basically west of I-55 is going to be 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then for basically our South Mississippi, like Pike County, Walthall County, as well as the North Shore areas, as well as the South Shore and our river parishes, in coastal Louisiana, that's going to be midnight to 5 a.m. Early Tuesday morning. and then the Mississippi coastal areas, and then the easternmost coastal Louisiana parishes like Plaquemines and St. Bernard. That's mostly going to be 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. And so really, you know, the coastal Mississippi areas are probably going to have the best chance of seeing some potential, seeing this line moving through kind of around that peak commuter time and peak bus time. So that's also a concern that we have as well when we look at this event. So in general, what we're expecting to see with this is this line moving through late tonight through early tomorrow morning, with the potential, if the conditions are right, the potential to see these damaging winds inside this line, particularly north of I-10, I-12 corridor, to see these damaging winds and the potential for a strong tornado or two embedded inside the line. And then this rainfall risk, mostly 1 to 2 inches as the line moves through, and not expecting anything widespread, mostly going to be localized. And then just keeping in mind, again, that we have this wind advisory through 4 a.m., as well as the coastal flood advisory through 4 a.m.